There's 1,000 things to talk about in this video, and it could easily be 4 hours long. I could have probably just did a whole stream on this, honestly, but I figure it would be better if I tried to condense it. So let's go through some of this stuff. This is all the Wowhead data mining. They were doing live streams, and big props to these people. I don't know how they get through it, and this is less than 12 hours later, and they've gotten thousands of things discovered. So extremely important. This is looking like, honestly, maybe the biggest expansion ever, like in terms of philosophy and changes, because there is some big things coming in a lot of different places, and we're going to try to cover them a little bit today. But I think most important to realize here is that I don't think I've ever seen an alpha build with this many changes in it, like the start of an alpha build, that is. Usually when the alpha comes out, like when the BFA alpha came out, it was literally the same thing as Legion without artifacts. That was it. There was like no changes to anything at that point. So anyway, we're going to try to start with the things that I find most relevant. And I think the one that we have to start with is, unfortunately, this one here. Okay. This is a conversation that is already blowing up on the forums. And I guess I'm not surprised by it. I don't know why I would be surprised by anything at this point, but let's talk about it. Shadowlands class changes, target capping AOE abilities. So that's probably all 90% of these people read. And it's possible, right? Literally possible. So let's not do that. Let's read everything. With the recent massive list of spell changes coming in Shadowlands, one easily overlooked but very important change is that many AOE abilities are being capped between 5 and 8 targets. Astute readers may remember that a similar change that was found on the PTR late in Legion, but abandoned before hitting live servers, seemingly included to cut back on using cooldowns to burst down inordinately large pulls in Mythic Plus dungeons and Raid. While 8 targets is still a fairly forgiving cap, it does threaten to impede on many of the strategies commonly used by highly competitive players. Keep this in mind that this may not be the full list, but the change may not even necessarily make it into the game launch, as everything is subject to further change as the alpha process continues. So we got build 1 of a... Let's recap. Let's recap what's happened in the last few days here, okay? There was, 7 different articles about things that were important in Shadowlands Alpha. That was like step 0, okay? Then build 1 gets launched. Not testable yet, not on servers yet. Maybe by the time this video is live, but at the time of this article posted, not close yet. We're probably still another day away at that point. And then we got people looking at every single spell in the game, like the diff checker, to figure out what's different about them compared to how they are now. All right, and this is what they found. They found Blade Dance strikes all now 5 nearby enemies. So Blade Dance will now only hit 5 targets. Also, some other changes. That's also a nerfed 15-second CD. That's a pretty big nerf, isn't it? Anyway, also, we're going to go through all the 5s. So we got Blade Dance for Havoc Demon Hunter, Brutal Slash for... What spec is that? Butchery for Survival Hunter, Multi-Shot for BM Hunter, assumingly also Marks, right? I don't know. They have it too, but I don't think it... I don't know. Either way, Divine Storm. Sorry, Salandra. No more AOE. Anyway, Divine Toll, that's a new thing they have. Bone Storm's on the list, but this is the first up to 8 nearby enemies. Now, this makes you wonder if that means that they're buffing it. Like, I mean, somebody brought that up in my Discord. A Whirl of Bone and Gore batters up to 8 nearby enemies and healing you for 3% of your maximum health every time it deals damage. Oh, no, it still says up to 15%. So that hasn't changed, at least yet. But it's only going to do damage up to 8 targets. Consumption, by the way, big buff. We're going to talk about that when we get to the class stuff. And then Barrage, Glimmer of Light, which is already 8 targets. That's not different. Shuriken Storm, Subtlety Rogue. Didn't even know that was a thing. Fulmination is on the list. I don't really understand why. It says up to 8 stacks. But I guess that means I have no idea. I don't understand the Shaman changes, frankly. Fellstorm, that's what? Demo Warlock ability? Yeah, Felguard. Meteor, that's a Fire Mage ability. That's a cast, instant cast. So you're seeing a lot of things that are changed. Ravager, Bladestorm. Bladestorm's on the list. Whirlwind is on the list for 5. Okay, so now I know there's some things like this already in the game. I'm not sure what they are, but I've known that when we talk about certain classes, I believe it is Marksman Hunter has one, and what, Fury Warrior has one? I don't know about this topic much, to be honest, like what it's like in BFA. But I'm pretty sure it's not a fucking problem. I'm really not worried about this, man. Like, this is like the lowest of the lowest for me right now. Because even, like, if I just take out every other class in the game, I look at Blood DK's things, right? So they got an 8... Where is it gone? It's an 8 target cap on 2 spells. That's it. Okay, well, I got more than 2 spells that do AOE damage. You realize that, right? Blood Boil, as long as that doesn't hit 5 targets, that would be a problem. If Blood Boil was on this list, that would be a problem. Because then, all of a sudden, I don't know who my dots are going to go on. You understand? That's a problem. That's bad design. Because this spell is supposed to spread my diseases to every target. But if I can't spread my diseases to every target that's in range of my Blood Boil, then how do I know how many times I have to Blood Boil? Like, do I just keep pressing it over and over again until it spreads targets? That's ridiculous. That would be terrible. This is not terrible. I never pull more than 8 mobs. This is not a problem. You know what I mean? The people who are freaking out about this, frankly, are demon hunters, I have to say. Or people who, like, think that they're better than they are, because this is basically an MDI nerf, right? This is a nerf just like the Twilight Devastation changes, where they made it so, like, when you're fighting like 30 targets, it can't just do the same damage to every single target. And obviously, it's a pretty jarring thing. But the way I look at it is, if this was a big deal, like if this was something that they were going to try to do across the board, change the philosophy on, there's going to be a post about it. There isn't one right now. So as of right now, I do not look at this as news. But there are people on the forums that are fucking losing their minds. And I can't even understand why. Because they're not even doing anything where this would matter. It's so confusing, man. This fucking games community is so odd at times. But anyway, so that's big news. Let me know what you think about that. Let's move on. We got a lot of other things to talk about. I think we'll go to class changes next. Because there's so many small things. And I think we'll just do class changes now. And then we'll talk about all the rest. Okay, so class changes. Again, we'll skip blood. We'll do this last. There's some really good ones for blood. This time I'm only gonna do the things I know about. I'm not gonna do rogue and fucking mage and shit. I don't play those specs. I'm gonna talk about the classes that I care about and that I know about. Now, before we start here, before we get into this is very important to understand what you're looking at here. This is like a new, like level 41. You get Blade Dance rank 2. You understand? Level 33, you get Blur rank 4. That's what this shit is. So when you're seeing things like, oh, that's right. I even confused myself with that. I'm sitting here trying to lecture you guys. I confused myself with that because they nerfed. What's the name of the ability? Yeah, they nerfed Blade Dance. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. They made the base Blade Dance is now a 15-second CD. It's going to be in here somewhere, I'm sure. But anyway, they made the base Blade Dance 15-second CD, so then there could be a rank 2 of it. And if you don't understand why they did that because they wanted I don't know about every level, but they wanted there to be way more things that you get while you level from 1 to 50, or at least 10 to 50. I assume 10 to 50. 1 to 50, you get the spell, or 1 to 10, I mean, and then 10 to 50, you probably get, like, you know, you'd get new talents, you'd get new, maybe even the PvP talents are staying. There's some things about PvP talents here, but yeah, you get things. That's the point. You should have get something every level if you're going to have impactful leveling. So anyway, you could take a look. Notably, I-Beam does not appear to be on the list anywhere. I haven't seen it. You know, let's just look for it. I haven't seen it on any list that it's not gonna have uncapped AOE. You know what I mean? So I don't see anything. Actually, nerf to demonic though, so that's kind of a big deal. But and reduces the cooldown of I-Beam by 2 seconds. Wow, that's not a nerf at all. That seems like a really big buff, huh? Wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong spell. Forget it. Sorry, this is why I don't cover classes I don't know anything about. Anyway, let's see. Here we go. Yep, says blasts all enemies in front of you, dealing critical strike, blah, blah, blah. Dealing guaranteed critical strike for attack power and chaos damage. Deals reduced damage to secondary targets. Wait, your primary target takes increased 50% increased damage. Okay, so I don't understand what that means. This is just wording changes. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's news to me. But yeah, so I don't know. Like, yeah, we'll talk more about this target cap shit someday, I'm sure. But for now, it's just like, we'll see what happens kind of thing. I really don't have any interest in it. Okay, so what else? Where's Vengeance gone? There it is. All right, so let's take a look at Vengeance. So again, it's hard to parse. It's hard to look through all this. But they're getting a lot of new, you know, levels of their spells. Rank 3 demonic wards. Like, I don't know. Is that really... Is that... The problem that I have with this is it's like, is this really something that you want to get? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I understand why they're doing it. Hey, this is what you... Don't even think about it. This is what you asked for when people were saying, like, oh, you know, classic leveling, classic leveling. This is what you get. You get Shadow Bolt rank 12. You know what I'm saying? A spell that's as basic as it gets with 1,000 ranks, and they're only there to make leveling seem more interesting, okay? My problem is, if there's not, like, I would really prefer if there was some kind of, like, I have to go back to this target to get this thing. You know what I mean? Like, as much as people probably don't like that, I feel like that was a class trainer concept was why that worked. Not because there was 1,000 spells that you get while you're leveling, but because, oh, I want to go see what he has. I want to go to the class trainer and see what's going on. You know what I mean? If you just get them instantly, I literally don't care about this. This is like my least favorite thing about leveling. So, but anyway, yeah, we see Fell Devastation, brand new spell, and apparently it's just always going to be there for Vengeance. So that's pretty cool. Immolation Aura changed or something like that, reduces the cooldown. I don't know. It's been removed. I think it's just, I think this is just part of them, yeah, like changing the way the ranks of the system work. So not really seeing anything special here, but the talents are where it gets interesting. So they're seemingly nerfing Infernal Strike, or Abyssal Strike, sorry. You don't have the increased range on it, which is a big part of why they're so strong mobility-wise, so that is a small nerf. But then it's still going to do what it's always done, I guess. Strike creates a sigil of flame when you land. I don't, is that not what it did before? I'm confused. Anyway, bulk extractions. This is a new talent. Demolish the spirit of all those around you, dealing 30% of attack power fire damage to nearby enemies and extracting up to 5 lesser soul fragments, drawing them to you for immediate consumption. And that is in place of Soul Barrier. We talked about this in the previous video on class stuff, and that is a very, very interesting spell, and I can't wait to see how that goes in Mythic Plus, obviously. It's basically like consumption for Blood DK, right? So that's very cool. And then we have Demonic. The problem that you might notice is Spirit Bomb is the replacement. So Demonic Fell Devastation causes you to enter demon form. So yeah, basically you use the spell and then you turn into a demon for 8 seconds. 8 seconds is pretty generous. I don't actually know what the CD is on Fell Devastation. Does it say? Oh yeah, 45 second CD. It's probably talked about here somewhere. Yeah, right here. Cooldown change from 1 minute to 45 seconds. So that's pretty good. What I-Beam is about that, right? I don't know, 30 second CD. So that's not bad. We'll see how that goes. I'm interested in seeing it because, like, you know, right now, access to Vengeance's big CD is effectively the reason that they're so powerful. So we'll see if that continues to be the case. But I'm confused by the Spirit Bomb change. Jix brought it up in Raid, and I don't actually know, is Spirit Bomb going to be baseline now? Oh, yeah, here we go. There's more on it. Okay, Vengeance now requires blah, blah, blah. Tier 3 in place of Fellblade. Okay, so Spirit Bomb is just a talent somewhere else then. So it's like, eventually there'll be a talent calculator, I'm sure, but right now we're just basically reading text, and it's difficult to parse, but, and then Fellblade, here's Fellblade, so you gotta, like, connect the dots almost. So here's Fellblade, charge to your target, Vengeance now requires, Tier 1 in place of Razor Spikes, and then here's Razor, so this is very fun, it's almost like fun, Razor Spikes, removed. Okay, so Razor Spikes was removed, and then a bunch of other talents like flip-flopped. Why the hell is it so dark in here? It's like freaking morning and we got no light. All right, anyway. So yeah, that's Razor Spikes gone. We got Ruinous Bulwark. Fell Devastation heals for an additional 15%, and 50% of its overhealing is converted into an Absorb Shield. In place of Void Reaver. And Void Reaver, did we see it anywhere? I don't see it anywhere. So that might just mean it's gone. I don't know. Let's see. I guess we could look. Void Reaver. That's 1 of 1. So that's the only place it shows up. That means it's just gone, I guess, or they didn't data mine anything for it. And then you got a couple. You're going to see this a bunch. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. I still think PvP talents are not going to be in the game anymore, but you never know. Demonic Trample still here. Either that, I guess there's just going to be way less chances or choices for Demonic Trample. But yeah, so anyway, I mean, you still got, look at Chaos Nova still stunning all nearby enemies. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Well, this whole topic, I just can't stop thinking about it because it's really upset me how bad people are freaking out about this. Who, like, I mean, there's some people in the thread who are like, you know, they're definitely more, they're bigger Mythic Plus players than I am, but to pull like more than 8 mobs regularly is like you're either doing keys that are extremely low or you're doing keys in the MDI. That's it. I don't, you know what I mean? Like 8 mobs is a lot of fucking mobs, and especially in a dungeon like Shrine, that means you need 8 different interrupts. You know what I mean? Like that's just not, that's not how you pull. I don't know. Let's not talk about it. What is Elise? Oh yeah, so now in this list here, so this is the breakdown of the class section. It shows like general stuff, then it shows talent stuff, and then it shows like spells that are added for the class, and that's what this is. And then it shows Azurite powers, which I don't understand at all, but it is here for some reason. And there's one very specific one that we're going to take a look at. So I'm just going to quickly, so I don't have to scroll through all this again. We'll just close that up, and that's it for Demon Hunter. Now, Druid's another one that I want to talk about, but mostly Bear. We'll talk a little bit about Resto. So Barkskin is one of the big things. Barkskin is now available for everybody, which I didn't know that wasn't available for everybody. Oh, right, of course. Not available for Feral. What a fucking surprise. So there you go, Feral. You got a little buff there, buddy. But it not only lasts 8 seconds, so that's interesting. This other stuff is Bombkin stuff. As much as I like the spec, I don't know anything about it, so we're just not going to worry about it. Soothe available to all specs. Again, who was it not available to? Okay, it just says it's just wording changes, I guess. And then some other changes to small spells. But let's talk a little bit about, let's just go right to Guardian, honestly. Feral? Yeah, no. Let's go right to Guardian. Okay, Barkskin, so we talked about that already. That's a relatively big change for Guardian because that's one of their main defensive CDs. But here's this one. About to go berserk. 15 seconds, reduces the cooldown of Mangle, Thrash, Growl, and Frenzied Regen by 75%. So it doesn't reduce them to 0 like what the Incarnation spell did, but it reduces them heavily. And do we know how long? It's a 3-minute CD, by the way, at least currently. And the cost of Iron Fur by 50%. So the problem is, I could already see. Oh, and then that's a different thing. And the problem I could already see is in 15 seconds. This is going to be like, honestly, the name Berserk is fitting. Like this is a really interesting spell all of a sudden, because when Mangle and Thrash have that low of a CD, presumably that means you would be able to always spam both of them, like one of the two. You know what I mean? So, like you would just alternate effectively, right? I think. Am I wrong? I don't know what their current CDs are in relationship to each other, but you can basically just generate. Like you would generate resources much faster when this spell is up. So you have 15 seconds. You could probably generate maybe 2 to 3 full bars of rage. That means you could, like, even without the Iron Fur change, dump like 5 or 6 Iron Furs out, right? At least. But when it's 50% more, you're going to cap on Iron Fur if you use that spell there. Or you're going to get Frenzied Regen like crazy. Like you can put like 4 Frenzied Regens up probably. I don't know. Like this is crazy. This is such a crazy spell for Bear. And it's the one thing that I always felt that they were missing. A big on the pull CD kind of thing, you know? So really big. The rest of the stuff is just like, I don't really understand this. This is like, I don't know. I'm not good at looking at stuff like this, but it looks like it's an aura buff, meaning they're just going to do more or something. I don't really want to talk about that because I don't know it. But some further things confirming stuff that we talked about in the last video, but Survival Instincts on this list. apparently Feral lost it. Man. Anyway, a cooldown changed from 3-minute recharge to 4-minute recharge. So I guess that's obvious because they're getting like, I mean, this is basically better than that spell now. Like Berserk 3-minute CD. I mean, that's a pretty long CD, but it's very powerful. So we'll see how it plays out. Now, the one thing to notice here about the affinities. Okay, so for example, Brambles. No, that's not an affinity, but Balance affinity. You're gonna get. I guess you always got Sunfire. I didn't realize that, but you can't use Sunfire in bear form, right? I don't think that's the case. You have to go into Bombkin form for that to work. Okay, well, that's news because I never take it. But anyway, Typhoon is now balance only. All right, so that's what I'm trying to bring up here. Apparently, right now, as of this alpha build, Bombkin is the only spec that's going to have Typhoon. And it looks like Resto is the only spec that's going to have Ursul's. You're going to see that in the Resto affinity here, okay? Ursul's Vortex. What's the only thing that Pharaoh's going to have? Oh. Maim, yeah, that's okay. So I'm never gonna take that, but anyway, yeah, Resto Affinity is usually what I take. Doesn't seem like anything's changing on the heals, so I was a little concerned with that, but it seems good. There's some other talent changes, but again, it's mostly stuff that I don't really understand. This is the main one, Incarnation. It's like, what does this spell do now that they have Berserk? I don't. The only thing I notice is that it basically just gives you more health. So it's basically a shit talent now. It went from being like an incredibly insane talent, right? It's the same thing as Berserk. Oh, okay. Here's the other difference. It lasts 30 seconds instead of 15 seconds. Okay, that's still a really big deal then. This is still a great talent. Okay, interesting. That's interesting stuff. That's 30 seconds of Berserk and extra health during it. That's seemingly what that does now. And no changes to this. It's just bark skin is different. So that's pretty much it for bear. Quickly go through Resto Innervate. Has this always been the case? If you cast on someone else, you gain 50% of the effect. I don't think so. That seems new, right? That's pretty interesting. So might actually see Resto Druids giving their Innervate to other healers, but of course it always depends on how mana intensive the spec is. Like if say like there was going to be some big talk about mana coming out. I can't wait, but yeah, it depends on if like Resto Druid's a mana hog still. This is the one that's confusing to me. Iron Bark. It's like, what did they change? Increasing healing from your heal over time effect. But they changed the CD. This is the big thing. 1.5 minute CD now for Iron Bark. That's a pretty big deal, man. Wait, what is this? I'm looking at the actual spell. Does it not have a duration? It just said it took the duration away. Oh no, it's just moved down a couple lines. I get it. Okay, it's always so. I always find it so confusing. But anyway, Nature Swiftness is back. We talked about that. Pretty cool. Oh, and castable in all forms as well. That's interesting. Huh? That's very interesting. It'd be interesting to be in bear form and cast Regrowth, I guess. But that's about it. Probably a couple other things that I would want to bring up. Oh yeah, I know there's some talent changes for Resto. Obviously, Nourish is a talent replacing Prosperity. Prosperity is removed. That was a talent I really, really liked, so unfortunate. This one is actually what I was thinking of before, Stonebark. Name change from Stonebark to Ironbark. That's confusing wording because the name of the spell is Ironbark. So why would you name the talent Ironbark? I think they just getting rid of the talent. I'm not really sure. Like, yeah, they're making Stonebark into Ironbark rank 2, and they're getting rid of the talent, I guess is what that means. I can't tell. But yeah, I'm upset about Prosperity, but whatever. We'll see what happens. And then, of course, Cyclone. So here's, like, PvP talents again. They did change... I don't know, though. I think this is just becoming a spell for everybody now. I don't think it's... Yeah, see? On the left, it says PvP talent. On the right, it does not say that. So, yeah. I think PvP talents are losing their interest. So, okay, so that's it. Let's go back up to the top and close this one up. So, Druid... Bombkin is probably going to be one of the most changed classes. I don't know enough about it, but it does seem like very interesting Guardian and Resto Druid changes. And those... Some of those things we talked about there are pretty cool. So, here's Brewmaster. Let me just... So Brewmaster has some interesting changes. They're getting this shuffle thing, which is, I don't know how this is going to work out. What do you guys think about this at first glance? It seems very interesting to me. We'll go right down to it and talk about it. It's here somewhere. Shuffle. Nizao's teachings allow you to shuffle during combat, increasing the effectiveness of your stagger by 75%. The shuffle is granted by attacking enemies with your keg smash, blah, blah, blah. Now, when you look at that number, you think 75%. That's much percent. But then you look at the number of this part, and you're like, oh, this is going to be fucking weird. And I don't know if I'm missing something. It doesn't say anything about stagger being that different. Oh, wait. Affects magical attacks at 0% effectiveness. Wow. I didn't even see that last night. Wow. That seems like a really big nerf, right? Shit. So magic is no longer Rip Brewmaster then? Or what? Like, what the hell? Anyway. Some buffs to Breath of the Fire, some other changes. Again, even though I want to cover tanks, this is the tank I play the least. So looking at some of these things, we have Fortifying Brew, but this rank 2. But anyway, 20% increasing 15%, increasing the effectiveness of stagger by 10, and reducing all damage you take by 15. I'm thinking that there's going to be a Fortifying Brew rank 2 that's going to basically rebuff it, but I don't know. So here's the thing. So let's talk about this. Keg Smash. Grant shuffle for 5 seconds. It just says 5, but it reduces the remaining cooldown of your brews. So that's 5-second shuffle from Keg Smash. So that's a pretty big one. But then Blackout Strike is shuffle for 3 seconds. And then I believe Spinning Crane Kick is 1 second, if I saw that right somewhere. I don't know where I saw it. Could have swore I saw that, but anyway, so like basically, these are defensive spells again. Well, I mean, they always were because of the way they changed brews. But this is interesting. What do you guys think about this? Like, they're rotational spells, right? Rotational spells are now going to grant you a big defensive benefit. And it's not going to work on magic anymore, apparently. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Brewmaster is probably going to be the wild card of this testing period that's opening up because I don't really understand it well enough to know if these things are big changes or not. You know what I mean? But then you also have Invoke Nizao. So let's talk about some of the talents because there's some sad things. But Black Ox Brew resets the cooldown of Celestial Brew. That's where is that? That's a new spell, right? Celestial Brew. Yeah, here it is. Purifying Brew absorbs the corruption of your next Celestial Brew by up to 400%. This is here. This is like the baseline. That's rank 2. A swig of strong brew that coalesces purified chi, escaping your body into a celestial guard, absorbing blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of, yeah, celestial guard. They even say the word guard. It's like, this isn't, I know this isn't Westworld, but there's no errors in this, right? Surely they know what they're talking about. It's going to look like guard, big yellow circle maybe. I would love that. That would be my favorite thing. It was like one of the coolest looking spells, man. So I'm excited for Brewmaster. But here's some changes. Yeah, we're talking about this a couple times already. Exploding Keg. So that's the artifact from Legion returning as a talent in place of Invoke Nizao. So that's good. But you see here, Celestial Flames in place of Guard. And then we find Guard. Hashtag see ya. Thanks for stopping by. Unfortunate. But here's the Nizao. Oh, we're going to see this for the first time. Brewmaster, 25% of damage recently purified. So that's pretty... Wait, what is that? For attack power plus 25... Oh, this is... I see, I didn't read this part. Damaging all nearby enemies for damage plus 25%. When you purify, it does more damage. So they basically got an offensive CD too now, all right? The Ox is going to be an offensive CD. So that's a pretty big deal. And then while active, 25% damage delayed by stagger is instead staggered by Nizao. So that, I guess that means he could die. I have to imagine that's what that means. But either way, pretty big change. Oh yeah, Rushing Jade wins. So it looks like they missed one that I found. Up to 6 enemies within 8 yards. So that was interesting. Up to 6 enemies. Huh. You know what? Let's look for that. Up to 6. 21 instances. Essence Font, up to 6 allies. Spinning Crane Kick, up to 6 enemies. Spinning Crane Kick again, for some reason, over and over again. Cyclone Strikes, that's like an Azurite trait or something. Spinning Crane Kick again. It's on here a lot for some reason. Light's Hammer, up to 6 nearby allies. That's healing up to 6 nearby allies, though. That's different. Sort of. Secret Techniques, that's a talent. For, was that, Rogue or something? Up to 6 enemies near your target. Healing Rain. Oh, wow. Blanket the area, restoring it up to 6 allies. Oh, shit. That's a bigger deal than the fucking nonsense AOE stuff. Surge of Earth. I don't know what that is. We'll get to that, I guess. Vesper Totem. It's a shaman spell. Summon a totem at the target location. Arcane damage. Oh, that's that. Yeah, I know what that is. Okay. Dark Pact. Tongue-tied. Up to 6 seconds, so that's different. Deafening Crash. That's an Azurite trait. Up to 6 seconds. Okay, so there's a couple things that are important to notice. Getting a thunderstorm, so hopefully it's not going to affect the video, but you never know. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so, well, that's fine. Okay, so just some things to keep in mind. I can't not think about that topic, sadly. It's just been all over the place, so. Okay, so that's Monk. Let's move on to Paladin, second favorite class right now. And they're getting a lot of changes. The aura mastery changes are not in. It just says empowers your chosen aura, so we don't actually know what the auras even do right now. I don't see them anywhere here. I looked for them pretty heavily last night and didn't see them. But yeah, nothing else going on really. Nothing new, that is. There is some small things that are confirmed. So here's a big one. Holy Shock basically got nerfed and now generates holy power. So Holy Shock is not going to be the insane spell that it was. It's going to be back to a builder, and it also costs more mana, so that's interesting. But Infusion of Light was flipped, which was interesting. Flash of Light used to be the one that healed more, and Holy Light used to be the one that was quicker, but now it's flipped, so Flash of Light is even faster, and Holy Light is a stronger heal, which is interesting. I think that's an interesting one. And then Light of Dawn is a big change. Cooldown changed from 12 seconds to none, but now requires 3 holy power. So this is how it used to be. Word of Glory and Light of Dawn. You had a big AOE spell, or you had a small multi-target spell. So that's how it used to be, and I guess that's what they're going back to. So that's interesting. One big change here is the beacon now is whenever you directly heal. I don't know if this was how it was in MoP. I don't remember this, but healing this ally directly with Flash of Light or Holy Light grants 1 holy power. That's a pretty big change, right? That's really interesting. So I wonder if, how quickly you can generate holy power this way and how important that's going to be. But we'll find out. And that makes me very interested about my favorite talent in the Holy Pally kit, Beacon of Virtue. Okay, so, yeah. Applies a Beacon of Light to 3 injured allies, and it's actually buffed up to 50% of the amount of your other healing done. And then your Flash of Light. So this still happens. So usually if you ever watch me play the Paladin, I always open with a Holy Light or Flash of Light before I put the beacon out, because there's some weird interaction where it's probably spell batching, ironically. But if you get them off at, if you spam the abilities, they'll kind of hit at the same time. And you can get a free heal in before the spell was even on CD. So that's interesting. But I wonder, how that's going to work out. Because I love this spell. It's one of my favorite spells. So the big thing here is that Glimmer of Light is a talent in that row. But it's replacing Divine Purpose. Which is a big deal. Because it just says Divine Purpose removed. But I could have swore they said Divine Purpose was going to be available for everybody. So I wonder if that means... let's just look. Divine Purpose. 3 out of 4. It's a talent. Now available to all specs. So it's making it sound like it is, but I didn't see it in the holy area. So yeah, I don't really know where it's going, but one way or the other, it's pretty. I'm excited. I'm happy about that because I really like Beacon of Justice or whatever it's called, Virtue, Beacon of Virtue. So I'm really glad that it's not replacing that. I was very worried about that. But anyway, Holy Avenger, big change to that too. I think this is no longer a talent. It's so hard to tell. But it says now available to all specs. Cooldown change from 1.5 minutes to 3 minutes CD. But you're completely different spelling here. Your holy power generation is tripled for 20 seconds. So that means every time you cast Holy Shock, you get 3 holy power for 20 seconds on a 3-minute CD. So that's kind of the same effect of what it does now in the kit. It's just very different. And then, you know, some other big changes. Again, I just don't really understand the wording. It says changed from Holy Prot Initial to Holy Prot. I don't know what any of that means. I don't know if it's still a talent. We'd have to see a talent calculator. So my mind's a little too weak for this, I guess. But Saved by the Light. When an ally with your Beacon of Light is damaged below 30% health, they absorb the next blah, blah, blah. This cannot shield the same person this way twice within 1 minute. So that's very interesting because seemingly this is going to interact very strongly with, the Beacon of Virtue that we were just talking about. So that's really cool. I really like that. And I think I think Holy Pally is still going to be really interesting in 5-mans. We'll see just how much their offense changes, though. That's the big question. There didn't seem to be any offensive changes yet, but you never know. This hasn't changed. It's still reduced the cooldown of Holy Shock, so Crusader's Might still seems like a great talent. Oh, and also, this says now available to all specs. So, again, I don't know what that means. Does that mean that, like, it's baseline now? Or that it's a talent that's available to all specs? Like, every talent every talent tree is going to have it in it. I don't know. But some prot changes as well. Avenger Shield is now the one that generates holy power. So that's a pretty big deal. Avenging Wrath. Oh, we should have talked about this before. It's not really that different, but the big thing is 2-minute CD up to 3-minute CD. So this is the same for all 3 specs, seemingly. Maybe Red's going to have a lower one. I didn't actually look at Red at all. But, yeah. For Holy and Prot, 3-minute CD on Wings now. And it's going to make your first Word of Glory critically strike, okay? Instead of your first Holy Shock critical strike. So that's a big change. Obviously, the kit's going to be completely different. Looks like Blessed Hammer is just baseline now. I mean, it's in this list of things that are not talents. So I assume that's what that means. I don't know what happens to the talent, but it seems like they just got rid of the old spell and made Blessed Hammer the only option. So that's... I never really liked the spell, but now that it's free... Hammer the Righteous. Hammer is the current target. I don't get it. This is some kind of CD now or something? I don't understand that at all. Maybe it's just mislabeled in the data mining. What I'm looking at is Hammer the Righteous is still here. Talking about, you know, the same spell. It just generates 1 holy power. But its charges change from 2 to 1, and then a rank 2 that adds a second charge. So it's like, okay, so it's still in the game, but then Blessed Hammer is here. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's some kind of passive or I don't know. We'll find out eventually. But Mastery increases your block chance to blocked melee attacks by 8%. Reduces all damage taken while inside your Consecrate. Oh. That's just the same thing but flipped. Okay, so no change there, it seems. Interesting. New Shining Light. Judgment reduces the cost of your next Word of Glory by 1. Oh, wow. And look at this. This is pretty cool. When you cast Word of Glory on yourself, it is increased by up to 300% based on your missing health. So is that just, Light of the Protector removed. Wow. Okay, that's not surprising, honestly. So they're getting rid of Light of the Protector. They're making Word of Glory. Where's Word of... I gotta see, though. Is this spell going to hit multiple targets still, or am I just an idiot? Oh, I spelled it wrong. Word of Glory. I gotta find the actual spell, because it just says... Yeah, it's not what we're looking for. Yeah, and you even see Hand of the Protector, Word of Glory's healing is increased. So that's interesting. I wonder if Word of Glory is just a single target spell now. See, this is the old Word of Glory. I don't know, though. Maybe it's still... Yeah, so Word of Glory has been removed for Rep. Thanks for stopping by, Rep. Obviously, we knew that, but... Oh, here we go. We finally found it. 3 Holy Power calls down the light to heal a friendly target for 200%. Yeah, okay. It's no longer an AOE, which I guess is not surprising. This is basically back to Mop Word of Glory then. Calls down the light to heal a friendly target for 200% of spell power. And then the prot talent, a thing, if, yeah, based on your missing health. So, okay. So Word of Glory is basically just the single target heal that prot always had. Okay, so that changes some things, I guess. I didn't realize that was going to be that way. I guess I should have. I don't know why I didn't think it was going to be that way, but... Yeah, so Holy Pally has now just the one AOE spell, which is Light of Dawn. And then they have Word of Glory, which is just a big single target spell, which is confused. That's why I'm confused, because it's like, well, what's Holy Shock then? So Holy Shock's back to just being like a little shitter spell that you use to generate your bigger spells, which is not my preference. I don't know. I feel like I'm trying not to say that I think I'm not going to like Holy Pally next expansion, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. This is Final Stand. It's apparently been moved during Divine Shield. All targets within 15 yards are taunted, so that's not changed. But it's been moved in place of Seraphim. So what's for Seraphim? Now available to all specs. Okay. Oh, wait, really? Seraphim available for Holy Pally? That's interesting. See, this is it's just too confusing. I just don't know what I'm reading. It's just a bunch of words, and you have to like follow the paper trail to understand anything. Redoubt, though, so change completely. Shield of the Righteous increases your strength and stamina by 2% for 6 seconds, stacking up to 3. That doesn't sound very strong. I feel like that's not, like, I think the old version was better, honestly. Moment of Glory, this is new. During Ardent Defender, every melee attack against you triggers Grand Crusade. Wow, that's strong. Really strong, actually, because that's, now don't forget, Grand Crusader is not just what it is now. It's going to generate holy power, so that's really strong. That turns Ardent Defender into a very good CD if you take that talent. What else? First Avenger Shield hits 2 additional targets and grants you an Absorb Shield. Hey, there we go. That's one of my favorite things right now for a prop pally, and it's coming following us. That's really good. I quite like that. Okay, so that's cool. So I think we've seen Last Defender removed. I think we've seen most of the things we're going to see for Prop Pally. Sanctified Wrath. Avenging Wrath lasts 25% longer and causes judgment. This is a new talent, apparently. Wow, man. There's some big generation going on here, huh? Talking about my generation. It's a good joke, right? Come on, don't even think that's not a good joke. I mean, come on. If anybody thinks that's a good joke, just let me know. I'm going to ban you guys. Okay, I'm not going to read Priest, even though I do have some interest in it, just because we're already freaking 42 minutes into this. This is going to be like at least 3 hours, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully not. All right, so Shaman. Real quick, we're just going to go through Shaman. The big thing I want to talk about, there's a lot to talk about a Shaman, okay? Enhance is getting changed. Very, very big changes. But the big thing I want to show here today, this is it. Okay, where is it? We gotta, there's just too much text. We gotta isolate what we're looking for. So we're not looking at Ellie. We're looking at Enhance. That's what we're looking at. I'm gonna show you something really cool. Check this out. I'm gonna highlight this. And I'm gonna zoom in. Look at this shit. Where'd it go? There it is. Look at this shit, man. Summon a Wind Fury Totem with 5 health at the foot of the caster for 2 min. Party members within 12 yards have 10% chance when they auto-attack to swing an extra time. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's fucking insane. And Enhance is back on the menu now. Top pick for Mythic Plus again. I mean, I don't know. If it's anything like it used to be, that is insane. Especially for any class that actually has an auto-attack based resource, which I think is still probably just Warrior. I don't know, but that is insane. Wind Fury Totem appears to be back. We don't know for sure, but sure as hell looks like it is. And there's more. There's more, guys. There's more. Let's take a look at Resto real quick. Obviously, a lot of changes for Resto, but here's the big one that I want to talk about. Well, besides Water Shield, the caster is surrounded by globes of water. So that's really cool. So they're going to be even more mana efficient. Not what I was looking for. This is what I'm looking for. Look at this. My friends. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. Here it goes. Summons a Mana Tide Totem at the feet of the caster for 8 sec, granting 100% increased mana regeneration to party and raid members within 15 yards. Totems are back, my friends. Totems are back. And I think, people were saying like, oh, they're basically just turning classes into mob classes. That's kind of what they're doing. This is basically what this was. So, yeah, I mean, pretty nuts, right? Mop Shaman was very powerful. They didn't have Wind Fury Totem. So this is going to be a really interesting expansion for Shaman. I feel like Paladin, Shaman, and Druid, said this yesterday in Discord, Paladin, Shaman, and Druid are the classes that have the most to gain this expansion. And it's because they lost so many flavorful spells. So I don't know. I don't see anybody talking about Wind Fury Totem. What do you guys think about that? I need to hear your thoughts. So anyway, a lot of changes to Prot. Again, another class that I really don't play a lot, but you know, some big. Probably the big one is this Menace spell. We're gonna take a look at this. I don't really see much else. Rallying Cry now available to all specs, but that was always the case. Yeah, okay. Some changes to Revenge, I think. Looks like a buff maybe to damage. Deals reduced damage to secondary targets. So I guess that means if you're not targeting, yeah, I don't know how it works now. Used to just do it automatically, but now it seems like you need a target. Nothing else has changed. Yeah. Well, I don't think anything's changed anyway. Revenge trigger. Is that like how Seismwell triggers Jix when he talks about Fortnite? Anyway, Shield Wall reduces case. That's just new rank of Shield Wall. Doesn't seem like much has changed for Prot in this point. Thunderclap. This is baseline now. Roots them. Reduces their movement speed. That's not a... I know Thunderstruck is also... Like, that's still a talent, it looks like. Rooting them for 1 second and reducing their move. So the movement speed part is just part of the talent now. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. I can't really tell. But it looks like, to me, anyway, when I look at this. Thunderclap. Damage deals reduced damage to secondary targets as well. So a nerfed Thunderclap's AOE, I guess. But, yeah. I don't really know how that works. But it looks like it... Has it always slowed them? Maybe I'm just an idiot. I don't know. Probably always slowed them. Anyway, some talents. Let's take a look. Best Served Cold. Revenge deals 20% more damage or 50% more damage when your successful dodge or parries have made it cost no rage. That's interesting. That was based on targets hit before, so that's interesting. Protection. What is this? Oh, anger management. Oh, let's see. Initial. So this is now like for Prot only. So wait, it's gotten rid of Last Stand, Shield Wall, and Demo Shout. Reduces the cooldown of your avatar and Shield Wall by 1 second. Well, Shield Wall was already there. But I mean, did these things actually matter? It's really just avatar that was always overpowered for, right? So we'll see what happens there. I don't understand that really. Last Stand's cooldown is reduced by 1 minute. And it grants you shield block effect for its duration, which I think was always the case, right? Oh no, it's just, it used to cause you to block all melee, so that was even better than shield block. So now it's just slightly worse, but heavily reduced. Did we see anything about Last Stand anywhere? I didn't see it. Doesn't seem like anything's changed with Last Stand, so they're just making it a much shorter CD with that talent. That's an interesting talent change. What else? We got Indomitable. Your maximum health is increased by 10%, and every rage you spend heals you for 1% of your maximum health. Now that's cool. That's really cool, but it's in place. It's moved into Rumbling Earth's row. Rumbling Earth. Don't see it. So I don't know what that was, but Shockwave. Oh, okay. So that's gone, I guess. Now here's Menace. This is probably the biggest thing. Intimidating Shout, I guess, no longer disorients them now. Instead, it knocks back all nearby enemies except your primary target. So basically, you got one target. You want to isolate everything out. This might actually be really good, like for busting or something, or Sanguine. This could be big. This could be Prot Warrior on top again because of this. But it depends on how long and how strong the knockback is. But yeah, like if it's like a 5-yard knockback, it's pointless. But if it's like a 30-yard knockback, it's huge. This is huge. It's the best thing in the game, maybe. But yeah, and then it's gonna cause them to cower in fear. Not flee. That's a big difference. It's just going to have them stand still, not move anywhere. So this could be really big. Like in Siege of Borealis or something like that. You got the one elite, just knock back all that. Just get away, stupid mobs, you know? So anyway, it's in place of Bolster. So Bolsters, yeah, we talked about that. But yeah, anyway, a lot of changes for Prot. I'm sure it's going to be a very interesting spec. We're going to test it when we eventually can. But there's just too much. I don't really... War Machine, your auto attacks generate 50% more rage. Killing an enemy instantly generates 10 rage. And increases your movement speed by 30 seconds. So that's a talent as well. And instead of... Oh, Into the Fray. Is that on here? Yeah, now replaces Booming Voice. 2% haste up to 10% haste. So that's a nerf to that. Booming Voice. Where's that gone? Booming Voice. So it's just somewhere else, but we don't know where. Demoralizing Shout also generates 40 rage. Increases damage you deal by 20%. So some big changes. Mostly numerical stuff that I don't understand. Okay, so finally, the Blood Death Knight. Let's get up to it. How do you do it? Home. There we go. The Blood Death Knight. We're not going to talk about the other specs. Here we go. So again, this is where I first noticed this. Obviously, Blood Boil has 1 maximum charge, but that's rank 2. Then you're going to get, or that's rank 1, but then rank 2, you're going to get 2 charges again. So no changes there. Doesn't seem like Blood Boil has changed from that target cap nonsense. Blood Tap consumes the essence around you to generate 1 rune. Recharge? Wow, sorry. Didn't mean to. That's not the word I wanted to say. Retard time reduced by 2 seconds. Anyway, okay, that's what happens when you talk for hours. Death and Decay, it's not really new, but it's just they're making it so Frost has it as well. It's just the same spell seemingly. Shadow damage, 10 seconds, doesn't have a target cap. While you remain within the area, your Scourge Strike will hit all enemies. That's for Frost? Frost has Scourge Strike? I didn't even think about that. Yeah, what does Frost even do with this spell? I guess they have Scourge Strike now. Okay. Anyway, so not any other changes. Let's see. Heartbreaker. I don't think that's different. They're changing the numerics of it for some reason. 5 plus 0 and then 20 divided by 10. It's just more 5 and 2. I don't know what that was about or why that was ever the case in the first place. But okay, Rune Tap. So we see rank 2. You're gonna have 2 charges. Seems like Rune Tap is gonna have 2 charges still. I was worried that they might make it only have 1 charge, but they did nerf it. Why? I don't see it here. Rune Tap was nerfed to, I think, from... Yeah, no, that's Blood Tap. Huh. I could have swore I saw it somewhere. But basically, it's probably somewhere else. But anyway, Rune Tap is like 20% instead of 30%, I believe. That was the change. And then Vampiric Blood, rank 2. So, I mean, just a bunch of leveling stuff. A lot of Veteran of the Third War, all that. So, no big deal. Okay, so let's talk about talents. Anti-Magic Barrier. So, I'm surprised they're not removing this, frankly. But they're reducing the cooldown now by 20 seconds. So, I mean, it was already a good talent. It's just too competitive. That row is not optional. You can't not take what's on there, you know? So, but now it's also going to increase the absorb by 40%. So, who knows? Maybe someday it'll be useful. Bone Storm, target cap up to 8 for damage. But again, don't care. You know, consumption. This is the big one. Strikes up to 8 enemies. So that's not necessarily a good change. But obviously, right now, consumption's use case is, are you fighting 40 targets? If not, you don't take it. But it's going to heal you for 150% of that damage. That's a start. That's a start. And it's also a 30-second CD. That's a start. But I still don't... I mean, it depends on what... did they change the row? I don't know. I still doubt it. I still really doubt it. But, yeah, I think it would have to probably be 200% of that damage and a 30-second CD for 8 targets. I think that would be fair. But we'll see. We'll see. I loved Consumption in Legion. One of my favorite spells ever. It wasn't called that, but you know what it was. It was the Legion artifact ability. And then, of course, that Leech Aura thing. Very fun spell. And I'd love to see it back again because on-use abilities are premium for Blood DK. Although they don't even need it. What am I talking about? They got Rune Tap. They got Blood Tap. We don't need Consumption. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, Heartbreakers. Again, they just changed the numbers. Mark of Blood. This is a big buff too. Places a mark of blood on an enemy that damaging auto attacks will also heal the victim for 3% of the victim's health. That's a bigger change than it sounds like. There's more coming to it. I've read stuff about this. What happened to this? I could have... Oh, yeah. It's just... Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. Cost change from 30 runic power to none. So this is now an incredibly interesting talent. I love this talent for raiding. I always thought this would be a really cool talent for raiding. Like, I could help... If there was ever a boss... You know, this is a great fight for it. Mout. On Mount Mythic, Jix basically solo tanks. He tanks the boss 100% of the time, and I tank the ads 100% of the time. And the ads are trivially easy to tank, and Jix is getting hit very hard. So it'd be like, goddamn, if I can place Mark of Blood on the boss, it's only a 15-yard range though. So maybe that would be the prohibitive part, but yeah, it would just be really cool. I love this concept of me being able to heal somebody else. That would be like that's like my wet dream for Blood DK. All this healing I can do, give it to me in a way that I could kind of splash my blood. Like, I could just kind of, anyway, that's not funny. But, okay. Rapid decomposition. Your Blood Plague and Death and Decay damage deal 15% more often. But additionally, your Blood Plague leeches 50% more health. So, they're trying to buff these underpowered talents. I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to be overpowered, but they sound more interesting. Whenever you see a buff, 50% more health from Blood Plague Leech, it does do a decent amount of healing over the course of a dungeon. But again, probably not competitive enough for the talent row. Now here's Johnny. Look at this, boys. Reduces the cooldown on and Vampiric Blood by 1.5 seconds per 10 runic power spent. Back to Legion levels of Red Thirst. I mean, it's already pretty powerful right now, mostly because of Vision of Perfection, though. It's just going to depend on what our haste looks like. We'll see. But that is really, if that was in Legion, if that was in BFA, my god, this class would be fucking Titanic again. Red Thirst is already up all the time with all these things. Okay, so Relish in Blood is the new talent. While Crimson Scourge is active, your next Death and Decay heals you for 24% of attack power per health of Bone Shield charge, and you immediately gain 10 runic power. So it's basically just, I don't remember the name of it. It's that Azurite trait. It's basically that Azurite trait as a talent, but it's replacing Tombstone. See you later, Tombstone. I knew somebody, was it, I can't remember. Somebody in the channel likes Tombstone. Let me know. But yeah, it's gone, I guess. I don't see it anywhere on the list. But yeah, Relish in Blood. This sounds very interesting. Crimson Scourge activates all the time, as you noticed from yesterday's stream. So yeah, that's a lot of extra healing from Deathstrike. Okay, but things get crazier. We're not done. Oh yeah, so there's Rune Tap. It's still listed as a talent, but there you go. 20% for 4 seconds. Charges change from 2 to 1, but again, that's because it's now got 2 ranks and it's a baseline spell. It's no longer a talent, okay? No longer a talent. But here we go. Maybe the most interesting one. People have been trying to talk about this. I've been trying to talk about this talent since the BFA Alpha. Now we're in the Shadowlands Alpha, and there's a reason to talk about it. Deathstrike's healing is increased by 20% and grants you 15% leech for 8 seconds. There's no way that I don't know what else is on the row. I don't know what's going to change for Blood DK, but there's no way that's not overpowered. I said that last expansion, and I was just talking about the leech. But my Deathstrike is already like 40 to 50% of my overall healing in a dungeon. So just a passive 20% heal. I mean, unless they're nerfing the spell, which I didn't see. That's big. That's big. That's huge. I can't, dude. Blood DK talents are such a joke right now. Some of the auxiliary stuff about Blood DK is so boring. This is the fucking Blood DK expansion, man. We got Rune Tap back. Big defensives on the pull. Doesn't seem like they're changing Vamp Blood. Like, it doesn't seem like they're nerfing anything. It seems like everything's buffs. We get a pet back. We get the sack, a pet sack. I didn't see that anywhere here, but they did talk about it in the post. We get Anti-Magic Zone. Placed an Anti-Magic Zone for 10 seconds. Reduces spell damage taken by 60%. There's no way it can be 60%. The old one used to be a flat amount of magic damage, reduced, say 4,600 magic damage reduced, and that was still overpowered. Now there's no way. This does not go live. I don't care. It doesn't go live at 60% reduction. But either way, even I thought it might have been about 20% reduction. That seemed fair. 20% for AMZ. Dude, I'm so fucking excited for fucking Blood DK, man. I put my time in, man. I played through it. All those fucking haters saying, oh, Blood DK, blah, 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 BFA, they suck compared to Legion. Put my time in, grinded through Season 1, a joke, grinded through Season 2, that got a little better. Got nerfed, though, really. Season 3, it was fine. They weren't the best, they weren't the worst. Season 4, they got really, really strong because of Twilight Devastation and all these other things. And now Season 5, 9.0, Blood DK takes its rightful throne, top tank for Mythic Plus. And all I could say is, it's going to be good. It's going to be a good expansion to play some Death Knight, so Anyway, let's take a quick look at some of the other stuff. This is one that I definitely want to take a look at. Consumables. So, I don't know what. So here's some potions. Okay, while potions are extremely have straightforward stat effects like blah blah blah. A number of potions in Shadowlands have enhanced effects if your weapon is coated with oil. These two oils, Embalmer's oil and Shadowcore oil, are also crafted by alchemists and feel like a throwback to classic era consumables. So if you've never seen Wizard oil, it's basically just like a buff that you put on your weapon. I really like this concept. Embalmer's oil, when applied to target's weapons, gives you attack and spells a chance to heal you for the next blah 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 health. If already at full health. Instead, yeah, I mean, that's going to be what I'm using, right? That's awesome. Alchemy's actually looking pretty good for that. 5 minutes CD, so I don't know how long it lasts. Oh, it says for 10 minutes. Okay, so can you put it on in combat? That's the question. How do these work? And then this is gives your attacks and spells a chance to proc additional shadow damage. So one's self-healing, one's damage. I know which one I'm picking. But yeah, then there's other pots. I don't know. I mean... These, we could read these, but we'd be here all day reading this shit. Honestly, it's pretty cool, but nothing really, I don't know. I'm sure we'll talk about pots and stuff another day, I'm sure. In addition to blacksmithing, crafting the usual weapons, including possible legendary armor. They were talking about that yesterday. Blacksmith can once again craft sharpening stones. So again, a buff to your weapon. Hey, listen, this is what happens. We were talking about this 2 years ago. Talking about the game looking more like Classic than it did look like BFA, than it did look like Legion. And yeah, this is it, man. So we're getting a lot of that this expansion. It looks like this is going to be a really crazy expansion. Now cooking, in addition to usual food, each zone has a special type of food with an unconventional buff and additional benefit to members of that covenant. That's pretty cool. We could read this real quick. Granting you movement speed when you're near a beast while on Ardenweald. Members of the Nightfade Covenant again the movement speed if they are near a slain beast. Okay. Members of the Kyrian Covenant can glide while falling. Oh, that's cool. Automatically levitate while on Bastion. Damn. Maldraxxus affects, let's see. If you spend 10 seconds, you become well-fed and gain a bonus while on Maldraxxus. That seems like that's going to be a good one. Anyway, leech for 1 hour. Okay. Well, that's cool. All right, so they're not finished. Here's the other one, Enchants. Enchants of BFA will place on a limited number of slots in contrast to Classic. Now in Shadowlands, it seems we can once again enchant many types of gear. So yeah, we have chest, we have cloak, we have boots, bracers, gloves, a lot of new enchants. So K-Maz, time to shine, my friend. Engineers. Engineers have always had fun gadgets. Items such as Holy Hand Grenade of Ardenweald. It does AOE holy damage to all enemies. That's interesting. Short range. Yeah, so this is a blink. This is a fucking blink. Shadow landmine. I guess it's probably these probably share CDs with pots, right? 1 minute CD. So I'd imagine. See the soul of those in Shadowlands. Damn. Teleport the player. So we knew about all that stuff, but also belt enhancements. Oh yeah, these are the new ones. Permanently magically suspend several small bladed weapons around you. Yeah, so they get thorns. Damage retaliator. They can put thorns on their gear, so that's really good for tanking. I wonder how much it's going to do. Allowing you to attempt to turn invisible while out of combat. So they get a fucking stealth. Although I don't know if they can move while it. I assume, hopefully. And then allowing you to instantly teleport a short distance. So that's... Wait, there's another blink? There's 2 blinks. Oh, no, that's teleporting in a random direction. This is... hopefully in the direction you choose. Anyway, and then JC. Jewel crafters can create enhanced gems, which serve as an optional... Wait, what? Oh. Wait, what? Can be placed in a socket or used as an optional crafting reagent to guarantee haste as a secondary stat on crafted items? Huh? See, JC is the thing that sucks, right? Like, we got to see what happens with gem slots. Are they going to go back to guarantee gem slots on gear? Because otherwise JC always sucks, man. It just sucks. The type of material guarantees your crafted items will have a particular stat. Okay. It just depends on how important crafted gear is, because otherwise JC still sucks. And then leatherworking. This is kind of a big deal. Apparently they're nerfing drums. 15% of haste. I don't think they're nerfing bloodlust, so I think they're just nerfing drums. Oh, and they can also... Wait, leatherworkers can also create stamina kits? Oh, shit. Wow. Wow, I didn't see this. God damn, so this is like... Yo, this is really cool. I love this. This is always, yo, this is classic though, right? I'm telling you, man. This has got to be the biggest. This is nuts. This expansion is insane. I can't even, my God, dude. We can go over these. This is something that you're going to probably want to read because it actually shows the duration and spells and like CDs of things. We can just look at Death Knight real quick. Kyrian, admonish your target, blah, blah, blah. Reducing the damage they deal by you by 5%, dealing blah, 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 attack power, arcane damage over 14 seconds. While Shackle the Unworthy is active on an enemy, rune spending attacks reduces cooldown by 4 seconds, and it's only a 1 minute CD. So that is really, that's good. That's better than I thought it was going to be. Because that means you're pretty much, it's going to be like a 50-second CD probably. It depends on our haste levels, obviously. And how long it lasts, does it say? Over 14 seconds? Yeah, I mean, you could definitely get at least 3 in, right? No, maybe more than that, probably 4 or 5. No cost, instant cast, 30-yard range. That's pretty nuts. Okay, Venthyr, swarming mist. A heavy mist surrounds you for 8 seconds, increasing your chance to dodge by 10%. Okay, that's not that good. Dealing 20% attack power. That's very low. Every 1 second to, well, no, that's a dot though, right? Yeah. Every 1 second within 10 yards. Every time it deals damage, you gain 3 runic power up to a maximum of 15 runic power. Ooh, that's not good. Now, so like now it's shifted for me. Like I thought that one was great, but now it's the other way. I'm thinking that one's kind of weak. 8 seconds increase. I mean, 10% dodge is fine, I guess, but compared to this, I think 5% damage reduction is just better. Of course, this is only on a single target, right? Dodge will work with every target. And then it does some damage. Probably not as much. Although this, again, only on a single target, right? Yeah. I don't know. The maximum being 15 runic power. That's the weak part, if you ask me. That sucks. That's not going to be much at all. That's literally every time it deals damage, you gain 3 runic power. So as long as you're fighting 5 mobs, it's just automatically done. Like the second you use it, it's over. But we'll see. And it costs a rune? No. No. This spell sucks. Right? Okay, that's not good. Anyway, here's the one I was really interested in. Necrolord. Abomination Limb. Spreads an additional limb for a limited time for 12 seconds. It's pretty decent. Dealing 45% attack power, shadow damage to nearby enemies. If the enemy is further than 8 yards from you, they are pulled to your direction. So 8 yards. Okay. Depends how it works. And it's a 2-minute CD, 20-yard range? What are you talking about? Isn't this just you use this on yourself? Why would there be a range? Wait. Can I use it? I think this is probably just a bug or something, but can I use it on another player? That would be funny as fuck. Oh my god, I'm going to use it on Jix and make all the mobs run at him. Anyway, no, that'd be funny. They're pulled to your location from 8 yards away. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. That seems pretty good, I guess. We'll see. It doesn't deter me. The 45% of a shadow power to nearby enemies for 12 seconds. That seems better, like numerically, than I thought it would be. Anyway, Night Fae, Death's Due, corrupts the target ground, causing blah 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 shadow damage. This is the one that D&D changes, right? Enemies deal 1% reduced damage to you up to a maximum of 15%, and their power is transferred to you as an equal amount of strength. Wait, so what is it based on? I'm confused. I don't get it. I must be missing something. But anyway, when you remain in the area, your Necrotic Strike and Heart Strike will hit additional targets. Yeah, so this is, obviously we don't have Necrotic Strike, right? Okay, so yeah, I don't know. I think I'd probably stick with the Necrolord one. I mean, that seems really cool. The problem is I just don't really know which one I want. Like, I'm not going to pick this based on which one's strongest. I don't care. Like, that is not interesting to me. I want to pick one that I identify with, that I like to use, that I like the Covenant of. That's how I'm going to play the expansion, okay? I'm sick of all these people who are like, oh, The Sims, we got to be better. You know what I mean? It's like, you're probably right. Good. Have fun. Do whatever you want. Bitch about all this shit. I don't care. I'm done with it. All I know is I'm picking the one that I like the most. I don't care if it's weak or strong. I'm picking the one that I feel like I will get the most out of and that I will enjoy playing with and being in the Covenant of, okay? So right now, I think that's going to be this one. It sounds very fun. It's a 2-minute CD only. I thought maybe this would be a 3-minute CD. It depends on how important this grip is. That's the thing. Like, if basically, let's say this. If I am standing next to a mob out of combat, is it going to grip it? Like, an enemy is further than 8 yards from you. That could be 1,000 yards from me. It's not going to grip them, right? There has to be a maximum range, too. We need to know that. I don't get it. Am I missing that? If an enemy is further than 8 yards from you, they are pulled to your location. So as long as you're in combat with them, I don't get it. So what happens if I kite? How often does this grip happen? Does it literally just always, like, the mobs are just like getting pulled over and over and over and over again? It's probably like every second or something. So what happens if I start kiting? Do they follow me? I don't know. We could read the rest, but I think we've seen it. So here's some cool stuff. We'll just take a look at this real quick. Yeah, here's like cat form and shit. Fox form or whatever. I think that's probably for cats. List of soul-shaped forms. There's all kinds of stuff. So that's it. They don't actually... I thought they were going to have pictures. Forget it. Not a lot of new models. Let's take a look, man. These are good. Look at Bolvar. Looking beasties, man. I can't wait to see Bolvar. I'll take that weapon if he doesn't want it. Kael'thas looking real good, too. Kael'thas got the Venthyr, one of the Venthyr back pieces, which is really cool. Hakar in the expansion. Hopefully some kind of big thing there. Lady Vosh. Oh, wow. That's really cool. But yeah, there's Sylvanus, and she's looking... a lot different. I don't know what happened, but she's looking a lot different. Ysera again. Yeah, she's dead, right? Hashtag Sia. Who's that? Ma. Oh, wow. First time seeing this. Ma Jailer. Well, is that him? The thing in the expansion, or like the thing. He's got a giant hole too, man. What happened? This bleach, bro. Anyway. Oh, Kel'Thuzad. Wow, he looks just like he does in Warcraft 3. That's awesome. That's neat. Muzella? Who's that? Looks like he would be important. Arbiter. Oh, that's not a good model. It's very stiff, I guess. Obviously, it's not finished. Oh, look at Uther. Very wise. That's awesome, man. Uther's a fucking blue dude now. What the fuck is going on in this expansion, man? Oh, this is such a crazy expansion. Anyway, sets, armor sets. We don't need to look at that, right? We got raid bosses. I guess we could take a quick look at this. I don't know what this is going to be. It's got loot. Oh, there's going to be rings. You got to be kidding me. There's rings. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I don't know. We could look at that, but I don't know. It's just too early to care about that kind of stuff. What else? Oh, here we go. 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 This could be something. It might be nothing. Death Knight's Runeforging hasn't really been updated in a long time. In Shadowlands, there's some hints at possible new Runeforges. Remember, we're only looking at spell data. It's possible that these Torghast updated legendary spell bends with something against some Runeforging. Okay, so hopefully you understood. Yeah, these could possibly be new runes for Blood DKs and weapons. And let's just say, if they are, they're more powerful than the previous ones. These are ridiculously overpowered, right? Here's one. This is like probably the worst one. Increases maximum runic power by 200. Your attacks have a chance to increase runic power generation by 200. That might be the worst one. Let's keep going. Your Death Strike deals increased damage based on the target's missing health. When you fall below 35% health, you heal for 280% of your maximum health over 8 seconds. What are you fucking talking about? How is that an enchant on a weapon? There's no way that's an enchant on a weapon, right? This has got to be something with Torghast. I think it has to be Torghast. There's no way that this is going to be on my weapon. You're telling me I'm getting a fucking execute? Like, that's not happening. This is too powerful for a weapon enchant. How about this one? How about this one? Deflects 3% of all spell damage. What are you talking about? That's not going in the game, man. I'm not going to be fucking reflecting 3% of a thing that hits me for 4 million damage, right? Anyway, taking magic damage as a chance to grant you a shield that absorbs 0 magic damage. But 0, that's not very good. So this one's... No, I'm just kidding, obviously. When an enemy damages the shield, their cast speed is reduced by 10 seconds. This cannot go on the weapon. These things are just not... There's no way. Your movement speed while dead is increased by 10%. That's going to help me a lot. When you kill an enemy that yields experience or honor, gain 10% haste and movement speed and heal for 5% of your maximum health. So you're telling me that literally soloing is going to be easier than it ever has been with some of these things. Like, this is just insane. There's no way this is actually a rune. Who put this on? Well, come on. Who's this? Squishy? Squishy, this is not... You're misleading me. Don't mislead me, man. This isn't what this is. Your ghoul applies additional effects with its claw attack. Death. And reduces healing taken by... What was it? Random? It just picks a random one. Increases damage taken by 1%. That's pretty big. That's like a bigger deal than it might look. Famine reduces damage done to the Death Knight by 2%. Slows the target by 15%. I think it's the biggest expansion ever, man. I don't care if that's not for weapons. If that's not for us. I think it's the biggest expansion ever. And there's all kinds of new icons. That's the only thing I wonder what's going to happen with my icon replacement. Probably going to have to redo it. Spell density. Oh, yeah. There's, here, let's look at this. With all blah, blah, blah. A few interesting settings have also been snuck in, including spell density options. Spell density options have been found, which would appear to reduce the impact of non-essential spells by 20 and 50% in a variable amount based on your current frame rate. That's cool. The game is definitely doesn't run great in 5-mans and stuff, so I guess I wouldn't mind that. But yeah, my computer's a beast. So I'm really glad I upgraded though, because this computer, like this expansion looks like it's going to be really big. I have to say, if you're watching this and your computer's not running BFA well, I think you got to do it, man. You're going to have to either go down mad low, or I think you're going to want to try to get a new graphics card or something, because I don't know. Anyway, and then some guy, Martin Benjamins, also reported that there's gamepad support. So that's cool. I mean, I could literally play a gamepad right now if I wanted to. You can just use there's already gamepad support if you're smart enough, but anyway, that's it, I guess. I mean, we saw a lot, right? How long is this video? An hour 15. So we'll try to put some timestamps in. It's going to take me a while to do it, but yeah, I'm going to get some alpha new dungeon and raid bosses. We kind of looked at that, right? And there's something with Tyrant. I don't want to look at that shit. Oh yeah, here's another one. Allied races no longer require Exalted. That's pretty cool. I don't care. I have them all. But yeah, that's fine. New faction names. Let's see. Hopefully Horde and Alliance are not on the list. No, it's just the names of the zones, right? Okay, so anyway, thanks for watching. We will see you guys hopefully for some more coverage soon. Unfortunately, I hope it's not just these videos. You know what I mean? Hopefully we'll be able to play some alpha. But if not, this will probably be the last video on the alpha for a bit. We'll see what happens this weekend. But a lot of stuff going on here. So if you watched the whole thing, let me know. That would be very, very cool if you watched the entire hour and 15-minute thing. So anyway, thanks for watching. We're going to see you in the next video, if that's all right with you. Sorry, if it's not, you don't have to watch. But I mean, it would be cool if you did, for sure. Like, that'd be awesome.